Hi, everybody. Jared Petty here with IGN, and I'm joined by
Mike Mika from Other Ocean, creators of IDARB.
Creators of IDARB. And Mike, what's your role in this project?
I am the I'm one of the two engineers and the chief creative on it. I was the guy who tweeted the "What should I do with this red box in the middle of the screen?" and had let the internet come in droves and steer the direction of this crazy game.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
There's never really been anything else quite like IDARB's development process. And the fact that it's been sort of crowd developed. Can you talk a little bit about how that all came to be, where you got the idea?
Yeah, I definitely can, because about a year, so this is like an anniversary of sorts, because we debuted the game a year ago at GDC, and this is the last day of GDC. And when we debuted it, it was essentially here. We want to hop in.
Let's hop in
press
while
the
we're
A
talking.
button while you're talking.
All
Press
right.
the A button. There we go. And you can push left and right and pick a character.
Yeah.
Or up and down to pick a team. I like.
Let's
see here. I could be Cappy Games. I like that too.
Where's the Intellivision guy? I love him.
Oh, you can be the Intellivision guy, and I'll be
Centipede.
I'll be Centipede.
I'm trying to find a television guy. Where'd he go?
Oh, keep going. There he is.
All right. There we go. Television guy. All right, you were saying.
Yeah. So, it was kind of crazy because we had worked on the game for probably like 2 weeks, and then we had it on the show floor at GDC, and I thought we were gonna be in like this prototype lab area.
Okay.
Hold down the start button if you want to speed it up.
Yeah.
And when we arrived at the show, we're sitting between like Titanfall and all these other crazy games like Dead Rising and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this has got to be wrong. Like we were not supposed to be here because we had this it was basically what you see here. It was meant to be just a simple prototype, but the key how we got there was I tweeted an image of a red box, and I had been like craving getting back into programming, and that's how I got into the industry to begin with, is like as an engineer. And so I wanted to do a little side project. So at night I would go home and just like work on this little structure of a game. Well, you've scored on me.
Yeah, but I think you're having mercy on me here.
Yeah, I might be.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of mercy. You're being modest, but I've heard tales of you absolutely obliterating the other human beings. The idea, we're doing developer Let's Plays here. This is one of our very first ones. But the danger of doing a Let's Play with the developer is they know the game better than you do.
Yeah, but you're doing pretty good. You're not doing that bad.
You're very
You've clearly
kind.
Played.
I have played this game. I am not any good at it at all. As a matter of fact, I'm terrible. But
sometimes, even though I've made it, I'm terrible. Like, look, I should have picked up the ball there.
Yeah, but, you've already scored at this point. If I get ahead of you, it's purely by accident. All right, so
So I was getting really tired of having the too many cooks thing, because we work for a lot of companies. They're all great and everything, but at some point, you just get tired of, like, having your voice is one of like many, and you just would like to work on something that you can sink your teeth into. So I started putting this little project together, and I just wanted to avoid all that. But then in the end, I'm like, I also missed working with my friends, like when I was a kid on a Commodore 64, and just like soliciting ideas and saying like, what would you guys like to see, and then try to do it. So I did the thing that was against everything I was trying to do to begin with, which was I went to Twitter and invited everybody in the world to have a say in what I was doing.
Okay.
And the things that came back were really hilarious and really odd, and in my mind I'm like, this is a great game to play. I'd love to see if I can turn these really crazy ideas into something that works. Because at a core, I'm a mechanics guy.
Okay.
So one of the first people to respond was Tim Schafer, who said you should make a morality platformer. And I'm like, okay, I'll try to do that. I had no idea how to do that. And then somebody else came with another idea of like you should run around like tower fall and shoot and do all that stuff. So I just started plugging it all in. And by the time, after about like a month, it just started to look like this game, kind of. It started to get really fun. And every idea we threw in, it just kept getting better and better. And I had expected I would be here this year talking about how crowd design is the worst thing you could ever do. And now I'm eating crow because it is probably the best thing that ever happened in my career, because this game's been just taking off since we launched.
Oh, this is one of the most entertaining party games I've ever played. I mean, it's not just a party game, but that's the setting I find myself playing it in and enjoying it in the most. A room full of people screaming, throwing controllers out the window in anger, that kind of thing. It's just a wonderful, wonderful tool for that kind of gameplay. You talked about, I do want to go back for a second. Schafer suggested a morality platformer.
Yeah, it's like
Richard Garriott makes a platformer, Ultima 4 the platformer?
It would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I kind of want to play that now. Anyway, so IDARB starts taking its present form. Will this game ever be finished? Is this a game that's going to remain in development throughout the course of its availability on Xbox One and just continue to be changed and evolve?
Yes. So like right now though, the core game, people really like this core game, so we're going to continue to evolve it in ways that support this core game and grow it out and kind of add features that people want to the game. We're going to keep adding things that we'll talk about in a minute, like hash bombs, and we also have in mind new arenas and also new modes of play. that in my mind it kind of follows Minecraft's update process.
Yeah.
Because I've watched my son just like anticipate an update of Minecraft, and by proxy, like I do too. And it just works. And meanwhile, they're taking their time on getting everything just right and everything for the fans of the game. And so we're going to take the same approach. We have an update coming up in a couple weeks it's kind of a house cleaning update that fixes a lot of bugs. But then we go into we're already starting to go into full bore into key new features in the game, things that people were requesting that we couldn't get in when we first launched it, and new multiplayer features and all this sort of thing.
Now, what about versions that people get attached to? Is this going to be like Linux, where you fork it so that there's IDARB old people edition eventually, so you can go back and play what you remember, or are you just going to keep the core product kind of locked down and just make those things options?
That's a good question, because we're experiencing some issues right now that you see in here's one of the halftime games.
Okay.
This is the non-copyright infringing hunting game.
Absolutely.
And we're experiencing them right now because somebody found and discovered this guy. Joey is active. He's a really crazy, extremely good player. And he discovered this thing they call fart dashing, in which you build up pressure in your character. And we have you press the bumper and you fart it out. But if you do that when you press the trigger at the same time, you can get around the map super fast. And it's divisive. The community, which I can't believe we have a community after a month. We've got this giant community of players. They're all divided on this thing. And so we've had to try to address this or begin to address it. And it's similar to like the throws in early Street Fighter games and that sort of thing, where people are like, we have to nerf this and do all that sort of thing.
Isms and all the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so we've made it an option right now so that the people who have become pros with the move and love the move can have it. But also we want to make sure it's defaulted off so people who are coming into the game don't have to get crushed when they go online by this advanced move.
Makes sense.
And so we'll have matchmaking stuff that'll help address that too. But we're still learning, because I don't know. I've never had to deal with things like Capcom's had to deal with.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of sports-esque. And you think about how the same sport has different iterations in different leagues. College football with a different rule set than pro football with a different rule set than Canadian football. So I mean, it makes sense that you'd have different variants and iterations on something like this. Still, it's gosh, there's never been anything. Let's talk for a second about. I'm playing the little Intellivision guy.
Yeah.
You right now are a video game cabinet. These characters. Let's talk about the characters because again, that's something that's fairly unique to this game. Intellivision guy he was the iconic Mattel logo for the old game console, the world's first 16-bit game console. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how he and some of these other characters we recognize got into the game, and also about the whole character creation process that's become an intrinsic part of it. Wow, that was the worst kick ever.
Yeah, no problem. Like, we started this game with, it was boxes originally, and one of the first things one of our artists and designers in the studio, Glenn McKnight, wanted to do was try to put some more personality into the boxes. And but I was not ready for animation or anything. I was just basically telling him like, I was basically telling him like, let's just keep it simple. Give me just like one frame of something. And so the first few characters he made, I think, were like Master Chief and like Raz from Psychonauts and stuff. Okay. And we put them in. And that's what we were demoing the game on. We took one of the earliest builds over to Double Fine, and we made like a Double Fine team, and that went over pretty well. It was just fun to have them play as characters they created, and we had our stuff. And once the game started showing at different shows, and we would have those teams in, other developers that we were demonstrating games with, like there would always be somebody sitting next to us with their game or whatever, these kiosks. They're like, hey, can we put our team in there and that sort of thing. So we just started to accumulate teams from other independent developers or friends and stuff like that. And I wasn't trying to do like a Smash Brothers thing or anything like that, but I think by the end of it, it felt kind of cool that we had all these like who's who of the game industry in our roster. And that led to a few other things too, because we would talk to these guys, say it's an 8x16, can you do it in Photoshop, whatever. But it got a lot easier if we could just give them, look at that.
Oh, that was kind of beautiful. Wow. Now you're just showing off. That's lovely.
A little bit.
Have I earned any of these 8 points?
I don't know. I may have put a few in there for you.
Okay, I think you probably did. You're just too. Oh gosh, I'm so bad at video games.
But like people would come to us and like with the ads as well, and like it was just a big love fest of because we'd play with our developer friends. Like, I did it again. Did you learn anything from the last?
No, I did not. I do not. I learned nothing really. Again, this is what they call a butt whooping back home. Oh, now I'm passing you the. Okay,
I can't
now
do it
you're
again.
just.
There we go. I was trying to do it again.
Now you're just taunting me. All right. Now I'm just being taunted.
But it was great because people started making the sprites themselves. Like Matt Matt from Way Forward, who does Shantae and that sort of thing. Like, he rarely gives the Shantae characters to any sort of like other games or anything like that. And we're just trying to explain to him what we want to do, because like we love his stuff and like we're big fans of his games. And so when we told him what we want to do and he saw the game, he actually did the sprites for us. And that started to kick off another trend where we're getting sprites from people like from the Killer Instinct team and stuff and putting it all in. It was just so fun to put all these things into one game and see what we can make out of it. But you know what? I'll just sit here and
you're going to sit here and celebrate the victory.
Cried.
No problem. Yeah, it's all right. I'm just going to sit there and suffer. So now you have this design ability, and people can get on the website and make their own characters too.
That's right. So we created the website kind of early on because we used the Kinect to actually you want a rematch? You want to show new characters?
Yeah, we can do new characters. Okay. Sure, we're talking about
new characters. Go over here. No, man.
Okay, new characters. No, there we are. All right. Thank
you. Yeah, we
so
allowed you.
Such a polite game.
Yeah. It's thanks. You know, we're happy every place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we wanted people to have, when we first showed the game, there was no way that they could use the game because it was an Xbox. So we wanted them to be able to show up at Game Developer Conference last year with characters. So we tweeted out that you could create characters on our website, and you could then bring them to the show, print them out and bring them to the show, so that you could put them in the game. And so people started showing up. Press your A button to hop in.
Yeah.
And people started showing up and with their characters, and it was amazing. We were scanning in through these little QR codes we generate.
Okay.
We're scanning them in through the Kinect, and people were showing us all these creations they were working on and created for the game. It was really, really cool.
Right. So what of all of these, of everything that's officially in the game right now, which one's your favorite?
Oh, of the characters?
Yeah,
I
which is
think, let's see. Oh, what is? Oh, that's a... I like the Oddworld characters because I'm a big Oddworld fan.
Okay.
Yeah, like Abe's pretty good.
But don't know which. I love
the harmonics. Like harmonics, these were great.
Oh, just like, all the different
instruments. Yeah. Like I want to be the harmonics guitar. And in honor of their announcement this week, the Rock Band 4, I'm going to be the harmonics guitar because I love those guys over at Harmonix. I've worked with them before. They're great people, and they were also one of those developers that when we're showing the game, they would come over and play, and like we just had a great time playing this game with them, and they would make great suggestions and all stuff. So it was awesome to have them added to the game. Breakfast team is huge.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, breakfast is the best.
Well, breakfast is delicious. I mean, and also it allows me to pretend I'm playing Burger Time and that I'm Mr. Egg. You know, and so that's a lot of fun. Now, what about new team plans? I mean, are we going to see like founding fathers eventually? Am I going to be able to play with with the inhabitants of Mount Rushmore together? Or,
well, we have Dead Presidents as a team.
You do have Dead Presidents.
We have Dead Presidents.
Okay.
So like and we're really encouraging users to obviously create a bunch of characters, but we're probably going to adopt some of the characters that are fans of the game that are making. We'll probably make them official teams in the game.
Oh, that's awesome! All right, so anybody you can reveal today? Any character reveals?
Character reveals.
Yeah, anybody you can. I understand if you can't.
There's I have like 3 pieces of paper in my office that I have to countersign. Which will have give us the permission to show the teams and talk about the teams that we have added for the update.
I understand.
There's some good ones coming though.
Good.
And some really classic. Obviously I love classic games, and there's a really good team I'm really excited to have.
Well, and Television Guy actually is what won me over.
That's awesome.
That's the reason I really first tried IDARB out. Was I saw somebody playing with the Television Guy, and I'm like, it's him! And after that,
Keith Robinson, who owns Intellivision now, he was one of the original
Blue Sky Rangers, right?
Yeah, Blue Sky Rangers, and we called him up and said, is there any way we could have the Intellivision Guy in it? We really wanted to have it because that guy is so iconic. Yeah. He was in like almost like 4 or 5 of their games, like as a baseball player, as Tron.
Yeah, he's all kinds of stuff. He's this Tron guy. Yeah,
and his animation was so smooth and was so cool, and I just loved that character. And he gave us permission. We went through a few iterations to make sure it looked right. And then he also gave us permission to use some of the voice module samples. So in the Space halftime show, I think it's like Greetings Commander or whatever. That's from the IntelliVoice, and it was just great to get that in there too. So it was just a nostalgic overload for me.
Now you're just being nice at this point. You really just destroy me. It's okay. Show off. Use your powers for evil.
You know what? You did good there. I'm not going to be that evil.
I did not do good there at all. Now, let's talk about what's it like when you play this in the shop. I mean, when you guys are developing and it's 4-on-4 there, and it's all people who know the mechanics of the game intrinsically down to the mathematics.
It gets pretty intense. We've got a few people in the office that are really good, and we yell. Like a lot of people who play the game yell a lot. And we have a yoga studio above ours, and they hate us. The number of times they come down and tell us to shut up. And we don't even realize we're doing it half the time. It's pretty brutal. But they're the ones who moved in after us, so I blame them. They should have thought about a video game company just below for yoga.
That does make sense. Still, that's pretty funny. That's oh, there we go. Well done there. All right, we're going to drop off here for a second, folks, but once again, joined here by Mike Mika, of Other Ocean, and showing off his wonderful new game, IDARB. We encourage you to check it out. I'm Jared Petty with IGN, and for everything in the red box, keep it locked to your friends here at IGN. Bye-bye.